Namaste. Today I'm going to read Volume 3, Book 3, SataRudra Samhita, Chapter 27, the incarnation of Dvijasvara in the Shiva Puran. Hari Tat Sat. Nandishvara said, O dear, listen, I shall expound to you the incarnation of Shiva, the great soul, as Dvijesvara, a leading Brahmin along with Shiva. It is pleasing to the good. O dear, I have already described to you the excellent king, Bhadrayu, whom Shiva blessed in the form of a bull. In order to test his steadfastness and piety, the Lord manifested himself again in the form of a leading Brahmin. I shall mention that same story. Conquering the enemies through the power of Rasabha in battle, Bhadrayu attained the throne. O dear, O Brahmin, the chaste lady, Kriti Malini, daughter of Chandrangada, and Simantini became his wife. O sage, once after the advent of spring, the king Bhadrayu entered a thick forest along with his beloved queen for sport. In that beautiful forest, the king sported about along with his beloved, who protected those who sought refuge in her. Then, in order to test his steadfastness and piety, Lord Shiva carried out his sports there itself along with Shivani. Shiva and Shivani, in their own divine sports, assumed the form of a Brahmin couple and created an illusionary tiger with their Maya. Not far from the place where the king stood, they began running in great fright. On being pursued by the tiger, they cried and shouted too. O dare the king Bhadrayu, the leading Kshatriya, worthy of being sought refuge in, sought both of them highly distressed and lamenting. O leading sage, the illusionary Brahmin couple, extremely terrified, spoke to the king Bhadrayu. The Brahmin couple said, O great king, O foremost of the knowers of virtue, save us both. O great lord, this tiger is rushing on in order to devour us. This beast of prey is like the god of death. It is terrifying to all living beings. Knower of virtue, that you are save us. Know of virtue that you are, save us before it pounces on us and devours us. Nandishvara said after hearing the lamentation of the pair, the great king of great heroism immediately took up his bow, but the rushing tiger of Mayak origin seized the Brahmin's wife. The terrible tiger grasped the woman even as she was lamenting, O Lord, O husband, O Shiva, O preceptor of the universe. The king struck the tiger with sharp arrows, but it was not at all affected by them. It stood like a lofty mountain which is not affected by showers. The powerful tiger, not at all pained by the missiles of the king, seized the woman forcibly and ran away in a hurry. On seizing his wife, seized by the tiger, the Brahmin was much bewildered and, following the way of the world, cried again and again. After crying for some time, that Brahmin, who was Lord himself, wielding his Maya, spoke to the king Bhadrayu, dispelling his arrogance. Dvijesvara said, O king, where are your great weapons? Where is your great bow that profess to protect? Where is your strength of 10 or 12,000 great elephants? Of what avail is your sword? Your conch? Of what avail is your learning in the laws of mantras and missiles? Of what avail is your might? Of what avail is the strength of your great missiles? All these have become futile, for you are incompetent to meet the onslaught of wild animals. The greatest duty of a Kshatriya is the protection from injury. When the virtue hereditarily practiced in your family is lost, of what avail is your life? Kings protect the distressed people who seek refuge in them with their very lives and assets. They are knowers of virtue. Without that, they are like a dead body. Better death than life that does not protect the distressed. A mendicant is better than a rich householder who does not possess charitable nature. Better to swallow poison or enter fire than cease to protect the oppressed, the helpless, and the poor. And the Dishvara said, on hearing his lamentation and the decryal of his prowess, the king thought within himself thus, Alas, my manliness is lost today due to the adverse fate. Today my fame has been quashed, great sin has been acquired. The hereditary virtue has been smothered. I am unfortunate and confused in mind. Certainly my riches, my kingdom, my longevity will dwindle. By surrendering my own life, lovable though it is, I shall make this Brahmin free from grief, this Brahmin whose wife has been seized by the tiger and who is pained extremely. Having decided thus in his mind, that excellent king, Bhadrayu fell at his feet and spoke to him in consolatory tone. Bhadrayu said, O Brahmin, I am a base Kshatriya, bereft of strength. You take pity on me. O intelligent one, do not grieve. I shall give you what you desire. This kingdom, this queen, this body of mine, everything is subservient to you. What is the greatest thing that you desire? The Brahmin said, What can a blind man do with a mirror? Of what avail is a house to him who lives on alms? What can a fool do with a book? Of what avail is wealth to him who is bereft of his wife? Hence I who am not satiated with the enjoyment of pleasures, but I whose wife is snatched away, desire your crowned queen. Let her be given to me. But Bhadrayu said, I can give all my assets to the extent of the earth, my kingdom, horses and elephants, and even my body to anyone, but never I can give away my wife. The sin that accrues by indulging in sexual intercourse with another man's wife cannot be wiped off even by hundreds of expiatory rites. The Brahmin said, Let it be the terrible sin of the slaughter of a Brahmin. Let it be the sin of sipping wine. I shall quell it with my power of penance. What then the sin of enjoying another man's wife? Hence, give me your wife. I have no other desire. Certainly, you will go to hell by your inability to protect the oppressed. Nandishvara said at the words of the Brahmin, the frightened king thought to himself, It is a sin to withhold protection. It is proper under the circumstance to give away my wife. Hence I shall give my wife to this deserving Brahmin and escape sin. Immediately thereafter I shall enter fire. My fame then shall be known. After deciding mentally like this, he kindled a blazing fire. He called the Brahmin and gifted away his wife with water. He took the ceremonial bath and became pure. He bowed to gods, went round the fire thrice, and meditated on Shiva with pure mind. He was just to fall into the fire with his mind fixed at the feet of Shiva, the Lord of the universe, when Dvijesvara revealed himself and stayed him. The king saw in front of him the five-faced, the three-eyed Lord with the pinaka in his hand, bedecked by the digit of the moon, with hanging matted hair, shedding tawny lustre, having the brilliance of a crore of midday blazing suns, white as the lotus stalk fiber, wearing the hide of the elephant, with his head drenched by the waves of Ganga, having the necklace of great serpents, bedecked in coronet, waistband, shoulderlet, and shining bangles, holding in his hands the trident, the sword, the missile, katvanga, the dagger, the shield, the deer, the mystic sign of protection, the 8 articles of worship, and the Pinaka seated on his bull and blue-necked. Then from the sky divine showers of flowers fell. The divine instruments were played, the celestial damsels sang and danced. Vishnu, Brahma, Indra, and other gods, excluding Narada, and other sages too, came there eulogizing. While the king was watching with palms joined in humility and devotion, there was great jubilation that enhanced devotional feelings. The vision of the Lord increased his pleasure. The incessant teardrops made his body. He had horripilation and choked throat. With palms joined in reverence, he eulogized the Lord, the Supreme Lord, the storehouse of mercy, and his consort Parvati were very much delighted. The Lord then spoke to him thus, O king, I am satisfied with your devotion more than your piety. Mention the boon that you, as well as your wife, wish to choose. I shall undoubtedly give it to you. It was to test your feelings and emotions that I assumed the form of a Brahmin and approached you. She who was seized by the tiger is the goddess Shivani herself. It was an illusionary tiger which could not be hit by your arrows. I wanted to test your courage by demanding your wife. On hearing the words of the Lord, the king, Bhadrayu, eulogized and bowed to the Lord with bent head. Bhadrayu said, O Lord, this alone is a great boon, that you became visible to me, scorched by the sun of worldly existence. O Lord, since out of pity you wish to accord me a boon, I choose it as a great devotee does from his Lord, the granter of boons. O great God, my father, Vajrabahu, with his wife, O Lord, I, a servant, are at your feet, along with my wife, the Vaishya, Padmakara, and his son, Sanaya. O great Lord, make all of us residents near you. Nandishvara said, then the queen, his wife, Kriti Malini, propitiated Shiva with devotion and requested for an excellent boon. The queen said, O supreme God, Chandranaghara, my father, and Simantini, my mother, are requested too to be joyously staying near you forever. Nandishvara said, the delighted Lord of Gaudi, favorably disposed to his devotee, said, let it be so, and granted them the boon they desired, and then vanished in a moment. Acquiring the grace of the trident-bearing Lord, Bhadrayu enjoyed several pleasures lovingly in the company of Kirti Malini. Unimpeded in the exercise of his power, he ruled the kingdom for 10,000 years. Then he entrusted his son with the kingdom and went to Shiva's presence. The king Chandranaghara and the queen Simantini devoutly worshipped Shiva and attained his feet. Thus the great incarnation of Lord Shiva and Dvijesvara has been described by me. It was the bestower of great bliss on Bhadrayu. He who reads or listens to this holy narrative of Dvijesa, incarnation of Shiva of pious fame, goes to Shiva's region. He who listens to this every day or narrates this with attentive mind does not swerve from his duty and attain salvation hereafter. Footnotes. '71. This chapter has a close resemblance with the second canto of Kalidasa's Raghuvamsa. Here ends today's reading of the Shiva Puran. Hari Om Tat Sat.